This guy's making $25,000 a month using a system that's quietly taking over the traditional service business model. Not only that, he no longer gets messy one-off client requests that slow most businesses down. Just one streamlined offer that can quickly scale to the moon. In this video, I'm going to show you the business system he used to get these results, how it made his life less stressful while making him more money, and I'll show you exactly how you can smoothly transition your service business to this type of offer yourself. But to understand why this model works so well, let's look at why most service business owners stay broke and burn out at the same time. Imagine your business is building Legos. In the traditional service model, it's like you pour out a whole bag of Lego pieces and ask every client, what do you want me to build with these? And then each client dreams up something different. One day it's a treehouse, the next it's a medieval castle, or this. Sure, it's creative, but it's also chaotic. Each job reinvents the wheel, and you spend most of your time planning how you'll do it before you even start putting the pieces together. But what if you did it a different way? You offer clients a choice between 3 of your best-selling creations. Maybe a dinosaur, a spaceship, and a unicorn. You've built these so many times, you could do it with your eyes closed, By focusing on what you do best and what people want the most, you get faster, more efficient, and you can build each model perfectly. Soon, you can take even more orders because you've got the process down to a science. This is the productized service model. It's called productized because the service is so well and clearly defined that it's almost as if your clients were ordering an actual product in a box. And this business type can be defined by 3 main criteria. First, services are sold as packages with flat rate pricing. The overall scope of the service is clearly defined, and the process of delivering that service is easily repeatable, and even better if parts of that process can actually be automated.
It's a service that you're providing to someone that can really be boiled down into kind of almost like an assembly line.
This is Apple Kreider. He launched his own podcast editing business during the pandemic, and he built it as a productized service from the very beginning. Why'd you decide to do it that way rather than the traditional service business route?
It was a lot more streamlined. If everybody's got their own demands, that's going to be really difficult for me to learn how to do this for everybody. And so that's kind of where the productized idea came into play. And at the time, I'd never heard the term productized service before. I was just thinking, well, it's going to be a lot easier if instead of, you hiring us and telling us all of your different needs and specifications and all that stuff, it was like, here are the things that we sell. Which of them do you want to buy? As opposed to like, okay, we've got 5 different people asking for 5 different things. I just figured I took charge of that piece of the puzzle. Then it would make things flow a little bit smoother when there were already so many different logistics up in the air.
And making it easier to work with clients is only the beginning. When you rethink your services as products or packages, it lets you focus on the work that you do best and what's most in demand. And by focusing on a tighter scope of work, you'll get better and better at it, making you more efficient and more in demand. And when demand goes up, it's time to raise your prices. But there's another hidden benefit here. Doing it this way also lets you dive into the work faster because you don't have to spend time planning how you're going to handle, this one client request that you've never had to do before. And clients like it too because the pricing is upfront and they know exactly what they're going to get for their money. And when your pricing shifts away from, well, it depends, you can not only publish it on your website, but you can start taking payments for it on your website too. In other words, selling goes from long, drawn-out phone conversations to a simple click of a button. When I implemented this in my own business, the results were pretty mind-blowing. 5 years ago, I was running my own small web design studio, and clients would usually find me through a Google search, and then they'd set up a call, and we'd go through the whole thing of, how much do you charge? And then I'd explain that I really needed to know what they wanted before I could tell them. So we'd chat about that. I'd give them a proposal, and it was always different. This guy's website could be $1,000, and this other one could be $8,000 because of all the customization involved. They each wanted a different Lego creation. But as I built more and more of these websites, I started seeing common patterns and certain pages that just about every business needed. And I also started seeing all the pages and features that weren't really doing anything for these businesses. And that led me to my first product, the $10,000 website. This was my standard package that I put up on my website, and the scope of what was included was always the same from client to client. The same pages, the same content blocks that worked for just about every business type I'd come across. And I charged a premium for it because it was based on a proven blueprint that I developed. And since I'd figured out those pages and those sections that apply to so many businesses, I took productizing one step further. I actually created a video-based course that teaches service business owners my system so that they can just do it for themselves. And while that was selling, I also offered a third type of productized service on my website, hourly consulting packages. And yeah, while what we talked about from call to call was customized based on my clients' unique needs, what I delivered and what they got was always the same thing: an hour of my time and expertise on a live Zoom call and a recording of that call. So those are three different ways that I've personally productized a service, but listen to how Apple was able to productize his business.
What we went for was kind of like the package-based approach, where it's like you can have package A, you can have package B, you can have package C.
So obviously this affects how you have to think about pricing.
Yeah, I think about the demand for my service as kind of like a pyramid. There's a lot of people at the bottom that are willing to pay a little bit of money. And then in the middle, obviously, there's people who are willing to pay more money than the bottom, less money than the top, and there's fewer of those people. There's a small amount of people at the top that are willing to pay a lot of money for something. The people at the top need to pay the top price to get everything that they want, while at the same time, you get a few people on the big one. And so you want to really try to segment. It really is an iterative process of just figuring out what are the different bells and whistles that people care about.
And the best part of this is it eliminates the need for time tracking to make hourly pricing work. And you no longer have to waste time building out custom proposals for every project, since they're either all the same in terms of what you have to do, or it fits neatly into one of three predefined packages. Did you ever get clients who had a hard time staying inside the limits of their package? How would you handle that in a nice way?
If they were just like straying off the path a little bit and they were just like trying to get a little bit extra this, a little bit extra that, it was really just like, hey, if you really want these things, we have a menu. You can pick the next tier up and you can get those things and you can pay for them. Otherwise, here's what you're paying for, here's what you're getting.
And we are getting to the specific steps you need to follow if you want to move over to this type of business. But you should know not every service business is cut out for the productized model. It's not just about what you do, but how you do it. So if the process you use to deliver your service is more or less the same every time, or it could be standardized, then you're on the right track. Take logo design or lawn care, for instance. Even though the final product, whether it's a unique logo or a beautiful lawn, is customized to each and every client, the steps you take to get there are pretty much the same every time. You have a system, and that's what makes these services ideal for productizing. You're packaging the process, not the end product. Now, let's look at something different like home remodeling. This is a different beast where every project is a whole new puzzle. A kitchen makeover, a bathroom refurbishment, or an attic conversion. The process is going to vary significantly from one job to the next with different materials, timelines, and client needs. And those differences in the process makes it a lot tougher to fit into a neat package. But now you might be thinking, how do I actually make this shift in my own business? Well, here are 4 steps you can follow to make this work for you. First up, take a good look at what your business does best. What services do you love doing that your customers love the most? This is all about finding the gold in what you already do and then just polishing it up for even more value. Next, it's time to package those services. So think of it like creating a menu at a restaurant. You want to offer dishes that not only taste great, but are also popular and can be made really quickly. So create packages that solve your customers' most common problems in a really neat, organized way. Now let's talk money. So you need clear pricing for these packages. It should be simple enough that if someone asks, how much does it cost? you have a straightforward answer. And finally, you've got to sell your packages. So just post them along with your pricing right on your website so they can not only see the pricing, but they can just click to buy it. So now you've got clients flowing in at the touch of a button, but if they're the wrong kinds of clients who demand more than what their package includes, you're pretty much going to be back at square one. But luckily, I found a foolproof system for attracting better clients, the kind that you love working with, who respect your time, and who have the money to pay you what you're worth. In this video, I'm going to share the whole system with you, and it's really simple. Just click here and we'll jump right into the good stuff. I'll see you in a second.